Hello and welcome to a very Explosion Network Christmas. Our podcast dedicated to the merest of holidays, the festive season with films about Santa, snow, or being left home alone, the time of year when we all come together and awkwardly celebrate with our co-workers. I'm your host, Ashley Hobley, and helping me grow my heart 3 sizes of Christmas cheer is Dylan Blight.
Where do you usually go for a workplace Christmas thing?
It's usually like the local tavern.
Local tavern? Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
How many people work with your work?
Be like 10?
10? Fuck, I don't know. Okay.
Yeah. What about you?
We just put up a bunch of different places and let people decide like where they want
so
to go.
awkward, you know. Yeah.
What?
We've done different things. We've gone to people's houses at different years.
People's houses?
Someone,
okay.
Yeah. They had like pool and stuff, so you know.
Okay.
But then we go like into the city and went to this like Mexican cantina thing.
Okay. Yeah.
We went bowling.
Yeah.
Those
does your boss like have a like or whoever owns, I don't know how it works, but do they have like a certain amount of money that you get to use for?
No, it's all, you know.
It's just organized and
Yep, we all just show up and do our own pay our thing.
Yeah, so I feel like that's the difference.
I do have like the main boss does occasionally a Christmas party and they just pay for it for things, which is nice. But
as I say, we're doing a we have a certain amount of money to spend. So
corporate funded Christmas party.
Yeah, correct, yeah.
Why don't you just split it and then Christmas bonus? Has that been discussed as a possibility? Is that on the whiteboard?
No, that was not on the whiteboard. I'll tell you what though, one option was literally just stay in and watch movies, but then everyone was like, can we drink? And had to be like, no, you cannot drink here and watch movies. And everyone's like, well, that's out. We want to go somewhere we can drink. I was like, you're all a bunch of alcoholics, but okay.
Yeah. Understandable. Today is the first of our Christmas TV special episodes. This episode is we've both picked out a sitcom Christmas TV episode, or in Dylan's case, 2 episodes, to discuss. So let's jump into it. Dylan decided to pick The Office US Season 3, Episode 10/11, A Benihana Christmas.
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas. No! Why did you bring that here?
Don't worry, she's dead. Oh, wait. He's dead.
Why? What?
I accidentally ran over it. It's a Christmas miracle.
Well, get it out of here.
Relax, okay? And because this is Christmas, I am going to roast this goose and prepare it with a wild rice dressing. Do we have any cayenne pepper in the kitchen?
Merry Christmas, Dwight.
Jim?
Wow. What do we got here?
What does it look like?
Dead goose.
And circle gets the square.
All right.
So can you watch this? I'm going to get my carving knife out of the trunk.
Dwight, we talked about this.
No, Toby, this is different. He's already dead. Once I brought in a duck to prepare for lunch, and people got upset. Apparently they got attached to the duck and didn't want to see it killed. He was already dead, and we Schroots use every part of the goose. The meat has a delicious, smoky, rich flavor. Plus, you can use the molten goose grease and save it in the refrigerator, thus saving you a trip to the store for a can of expensive goose grease.
Wow. Win-win.
First aired December 14th, 2006. Directed by Harold Ramis. Written by Jennifer Celotta. Trouble among the members of the party planning committee results with Pam and Karen hosting a rival Christmas party, but Michael is interested in celebrating after being dumped by Carol. Dylan, why'd you pick this episode of TV to talk about?
It's considered I think it's widely just considered the best of the Christmas specials from the Office series of Christmas episodes. So
Of the US Office.
Of the US Office. The UK Office did Christmas specials because that's of course what they do with UK shows. They're like, our Christmas episode isn't part of the core 6 episodes of our season.
Yeah.
It is a special, and they're quite good. But also, they are weirdly more like somber than and serious than the dumb jokes in this. I think it's there is one joke in this that I don't think holds up at all, and is sort of like a testament of the fact that the first few seasons of The Office, especially the first season, is quite sexist at times, and among other problems.
Is it
But
him introducing Carol to the office?
no, I mean that could be, but no, I'm just thinking about there's the bit.
Make sure you bring your skimpiest bikini.
Yeah, no, I mean, yes, that is, but it's not the standout to me. The standout to me is in part 2 of this when he gets the girls to come back and he can't recognize which ones. Which
Oh,
are the two
you called
Asians.
it sexist? Is that what you call it?
No,
I
no,
call it mildly racist.
Well, that's racist. Yeah, I mean, like I was like, the first season is very sexist.
I can't believe you picked an Asian racist Christmas episode, Dylan, for me to watch.
Yeah, but outside of that, I think most of it still holds up. It's quite funny. The whole bit is obviously the two Christmas things. It's like built around two main storylines. You have the people back at the office who are sort of having this going to one party over the other, and then this weird like back office politics around running a Christmas committee and whatever the hell else they call it, which is funny. But then the main thing is, of course, the Michael losing his girlfriend at the start of the episode and then just going into full like sad mode and then rebounding or whatever, and all which is quite funny. Just the fact he's like listening to that song, and then Dwight or whoever, I can't remember if it's Dwight or Andy, whoever it is, Andy, no, it's Andy. He comes in and is like, I think he's like, why didn't you just purchase the whole song? He's like, I just want to listen to this part. Obviously, like there's the sample song on like Apple Music or like or whatever the hell it was.
It dates it so much.
Yeah, like just the preview of the song, he just keeps listening to it all over again, which your body's a wonderland, so that's quite funny. I think it's nearly 20 years old, the episode.
Yeah, so it first aired December 14th 2006.
Yeah, so as I said, some of it definitely shows its age. But I still think I haven't watched this for ages, to be honest. But I still think most of it was pretty funny.
Yeah, I haven't seen this episode. I'm not an Office guy.
Surprisingly, to be honest, like one of the biggest, of the biggest, most popular sitcoms, and you're a sitcom guy.
Yeah. I mean, there's the awkward humor.
Yeah, maybe that's
which is element, but also there's like the volume. There's a lot there. Maybe one day I'll sit down and power through it. I feel like I've watched a lot through like Twitter videos and Instagram reels and that kind of stuff.
Also, I just remember the funny when they're like at the restaurant. Dwight, he like fucking what's McCall's character? Jim makes the gag about like saying when Dwight's asking what's the girl doing, and because he can't hear him, he's at the other end of the table. He's like, oh, she's trying to pretend to like she's having trouble
killing the goose.
Yeah, killing the goose. He's like, oh, you just fucking they're funny. There are some funny bits.
Yeah, I had a good time. Other than the slightly racist, but slightly racist, but it's pretty.
It's a if you want to, I would say it's definitely like it's 100% racist, but if you're like ranking racist jokes, it's like
it's pretty on the low end.
Yeah.
I read on a Wikipedia article like the person who played one of the girls was like kind of like disappointed when they showed up on set, and it's like, oh, we're just the butt of the joke, Yeah. But I guess it's like Michael Scott can't tell the two apart.
Michael Scott
because he is the most idiotic person imaginable, based on the opening of this episode, in which he, Would you ever Photoshop yourself on a photo of of someone with their ex and their children?
Yeah, probably not.
Bold move.
You didn't know, but I was there with you because
it's like
we were always destined to be together.
Yeah, I would dump him too. I want to go to Jamaica.
It's all expenses paid.
All expenses paid.
Yeah. You know what that means? Who knows? I don't know. You keep saying it all episode.
What expenses? Yeah, interesting. Like I'm familiar enough to know that this must be after like the two officers one that Jim went to must have merged, right?
Yeah, I mean it's been ages. I think however it plays out, I can't remember exactly.
I assume it's like the season before or something, but it's like the first time. But obviously, the first Christmas that the two combined officers, are like having together.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, so that's why there's the tension about the Christmas party, because what the other office would do certain things, and this office is just under the cold dictatorship of Angela, making boring nutcrackers things. I don't know. That seems like a terrible Christmas party, to be fair. Like, why would you? I would find an excuse not to go. You know. But yeah, I mean, it's a fun time. There's, I don't know how Christmassy it is, other than it being a work office party.
I mean, it's as Christmassy as a show set in a office.
Yeah. So I guess it's incredibly accurate.
Yeah.
I did enjoy them discussing whether they could kill the goose. Dwight, I killed the goose. It was a Christmas miracle here with my car.
I feel like there's a lot of characters you would get you would not like the type of you would not like in the show and whatever else. I feel like Rainn Wilson's obviously this is the character he's most known for. Yeah, he's just very funny.
And him being screwed along by Jim and Pam again.
How do you feel watching this and seeing John Krasinski? Because again,
he's so young.
Yeah, but this is his thing. This is
his breakout role. Yeah,
this is his breakout role. Yeah.
Yeah,
but he's so young, and he was just named People's Sexiest Man Alive, and he looks so young in this. So.
Yeah, only got sexier. Yeah, really. I mean, it's good. Good times. Obviously, it also progressed. Is also we get some Craig Robinson. They had a stacked cast. Like a lot of these people.
When you look back, Mindy Kaling and all these other people that are in it.
Yeah, Rashida Jones. Ed Helms.
Ed Helms, obviously. Yeah.
I mean, of course, Steve Carell. He's probably easily the most successful out of all of them.
Yeah.
Maybe not recently. I can't remember the last thing I've seen him in, actually.
That's a good question, eh? Unless you want to count the voice work in Despicable Me.
I mean, I'm sure he's raking it in.
Or the voice work in If.
Yeah.
Apparently he was in Asteroid City, which I still haven't watched.
That's true. He was like a general kind of character.
There you go.
Memory. You should watch Asteroid City. Anyway, it also says they're obviously getting some story progression along, overarching story progression as well, with Pam and starting a relationship with Roy, and Jim still dealing with his heart being broken by Pam and all that kind of stuff. So good times. And then we end the episode with, of course, Dwight being tricked into believing a helicopter is going to come get him.
Yep, that's the story's fine.
My favorite thing about that the scam is he told the CIA secrets he would never tell anybody else. Dumb. How did you get fooled so long? But yes, that was a good time. So yeah,
I'll tell you what. The bromance between Jim and Pam would be again another reason you would actually like the show.
Yeah, I'm sure it would be.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the episode that I picked. I picked MASH, Season 9, Episode 5, Death Takes a Holiday.
How's this pulse? It's ready, not good.
I'll get the plasma.
Forget it, Margaret, they won't do any good. No hope. Bullet must have destroyed his brainstem.
Oh, God.
What?
To the best husband and daddy in the world, come home soon, we love you. Scott, Jeannie, and Lynn.
Margaret, set up 3 units of plasma. What for? It's a waste of time.
Doctor, there's no point.
If we can delay it long enough, these kids won't have to think of Christmas as the day their daddy died.
First aired December 15th, 1980. Directed by Mike Farrell. Story by Thad Mumford and Dan Wilcox and Burt Metcalfe. Teleplay by Mike Farrell, John Rappaport, and Dennis Koenig. While local orphans attend a Christmas party in the mess tent, Hawkeye, BJ, and Margaret try to delay the death of a critically injured soldier so that his family won't think of Christmas as the day that their father died. So I felt like when we usually do this, it's like very recent stuff. So I thought I'll dive back into like the...
Hey, I picked something 20 years old.
That's true. Usually we pick stuff that's aired during our lifetime. I went back in the history, back in time.
Yep.
I picked something from arguably the biggest sitcom of all time. You know?
Is MASH considered a sitcom?
I would say so. Probably. I would imagine MASH is a sitcom. MASH is a comedy in the same way that The Bear is a comedy. In that it's 30 minutes long.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But I totally believe that if they wanted to, they could put like a laugh track in there and that kind of stuff. But
man, it would ruin the show.
It would change the tone of the show for sure. But I don't know. MASH was always one of those shows that was on.
Correct. MASH used to be on after school, always on TV.
Always TV.
Reruns,
Just like your parents would want to watch the news. MASH was usually on right before, so you just end up watching the episode of MASH, and then the news would come on.
Correct. Yep.
That's how. I feel like that was life in Australia.
Yeah. No,
things have gone downhill since.
And this sometimes the few years difference between us does change some elements of our childhoods, but this is definitely something I can say it was the exact same for me.
Which is crazy because then I feel like then
they were rerunning MASH for a while, man.
They were, and then they decided, we'll start putting game shows on at 5:30 before the news, and then that's what happens.
Well, it's funny because I remember another thing that used to be on that I used to put on myself. No one in my family liked watching it, but another show. This is a complete time set. I forget what I'm saying. But Doctor Who, the original series, used to be on ABC right before the news. So I always used to watch that, and then like Dad, like 6 o'clock now, I gotta switch it over. I'm like, yeah, let's just finish it. So I was like, but MASH was on the same channel usually, so I could like safely lead in. But so I was like, either MASH, Doctor Who, or one of the other channels would probably have around the same time. There was some sort of game show on. What's the one where they flip over the
Wheel of Fortune?
Oh, yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Or what was the show with Burt Newton for a while there?
Yeah. All that. Yeah.
So I picked. I think MASH did like 4 Christmas episodes. But this is the one that was most well liked or reviewed, and obviously it is a little bit more of a darker subject matter, which appealed to me. Because it is about them trying to. It's about them trying to keep a guy alive, so that his kids don't think Christmas is the day that he died. Which, as I've seen some people point out, they're in Korea. The day he died in America would be Christmas Eve, probably.
Correct.
But it's the thought that counts.
I will say I get the thought, and it makes for an interesting story throughout the episode, and sad, but it makes them seem like really these heroic people trying to do the right thing for this person, and they twist the rules or whatever, just for this people's family. But at the end of the day, I'm like,
he's dead.
If I was a little kid and it was like, well, your dad died at 12:05 on Boxing Day or 11:30 on Christmas Day, it'd be like, either way, Christmas is ruined. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't. What difference does it make? Really?
Yeah. But it's whatever the little victories the doctors there working in the war can get for themselves to motivate them, I guess.
I think the other storyline's more when you get to that, but I think the other storyline, the main storyline that runs through this episode, was a lot more interesting to me.
Really? Obviously, that's kind of happening in the background. But prior to this, the doctors, have organized for a bunch of Korean orphans to come to camp to have a Christmas feast. Unfortunately, their supply run was hit, so now none of the food that was going to come for Christmas is going to come. So everybody in the camp is kind of scrounging together to put together this feast for these kids to enjoy from their own personal rations and mail that they've gotten from home of chocolates and booze and other things. But what's his name? Old Major Charles Emerson Winchester III, despite getting a lot of perishable packages recently, doesn't provide anything but some canned oysters. But then he sneaks off and drops off some beautiful chocolates to a local orphanage. But it's part of his tradition that he has to give them away anonymously. But then it turns out the next day that his chocolates apparently have been sold on the black market. He gets very upset. But then, as the person that he dropped them off to explains, while the kids may have enjoyed the chocolates for, an hour or so, if by selling them on the black market for a lot of money, they've been able to buy food for them for several months. I thought it was really interesting.
I thought that was the better story.
Sorry.
Better, and it seemed to have a bit. I think this is the one that had the actual message with it that seems relevant. And you can still say it's relevant today. Like if you go donate a fucking toy to one of those drives that go to third world countries and stuff. Do they really give a fuck about the random ass toy? Or would they rather just some food or more actual helpful supplies?
Yeah. What this episode was saying is, for Christmas, be practical. Don't buy your kid that new PlayStation. Put underwear, socks.
Kids love
clothes, shoes.
Yeah.
Put all that money on their travel card.
Yeah.
Practical things.
Fill up their Mikey. I don't know. You know what I mean? Depending on...
Yeah. Or just, put it on a Uber Eats card, so they can buy some food,
Yeah.
Don't need shiny
Fun
fancy
toys
things.
Are for idiots,
Yeah. We're about to be in the same sort of financial situation as those Korean kids. Start being practical with your gift giving this year.
Well, I hope we're not, but America will be soon enough, so.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh.
I enjoyed, at the end of the episode, old Klinger, who's been going around, is kind of poking fun at Winchester this entire episode. Comes clean that, he knew all along what he was doing. But yeah. Good episode. Fun time.
I'll tell you what, the one thing that hit me is I definitely haven't watched MASH for so long, ever since the rerun stopped, basically.
Yeah.
But clicking play on the Disney Plus app and just I was like, fucking hell. Yeah.
Just a super hard nostalgia trip.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about?
No, you wouldn't see anyone make a Christmas episode like this for any show these days.
No, kind of dark and
yeah,
but also lighthearted.
Also, it's just so crazy to think you're watching this. I'm just like a sitcom, if that's actually right, set during a real war, doing storylines like this. Crazy. It's a show we had, really. I just don't feel like this could get I just don't think this show would get made now.
Oh no, MASH would definitely not get made.
Well, I don't think so.
I think it could, but not on a main TV network, not on one of 3 channels.
I think it's
maybe on a FX or
But then
what season on Netflix.
Can you imagine if they did a show like this set during set in Iraq or some shit? I just don't. I cannot pitch it's
set in the Ukraine
or
Palestine right now.
You're asking for problematic issues among other things.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. MASH is a crazy show. All right, let us know what you thought of either of these Christmas episodes, we're going to explosionnetwork.com/Twitter or jump to Discord at explosionnetwork.com/Discord or find us on other social media at ExplosionPod. If you want to help us out here at a very Explosion Network Christmas, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and Podchaser. Leave us 5 stars, then you can leave 5 stars. Just tell people about the show. And if you enjoyed this episode, thought it was worth $1, head on over to our Ko-fi page at explosionnetwork.com/support. Thank you very much for listening. Until next time, remember, don't make things awkward at the Octopus Christmas party.